pianist and served as lead male vocalist for the International B.B. King All-Star Band. Before composing original music and scores for off-Broadway productions, he had a decade of experience in musical theater and writes for an array of record labels. Jabari is with us tonight to bring us a very special version of a very special song, This Is Me. Please join me in welcoming Jabari Clay.
A stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say. No one will want your broken part. Learn to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are. Won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. For we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of hatred, it's my skin. Well, fire away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and reaching for the sun. We are warriors, this is what we become. I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. When the sharp words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the flood, gonna watch them drown. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, yeah. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, this is me.
Looks like we got our rainbow. Right there. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Pulse 5-year annual remembrance ceremony. I am Earl Crittenden, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the One Pulse Foundation, and we are thankful to be here with you in person and virtually after a year that no one will ever forget. I want to welcome and recognize the families of our 49 angels, Pulse survivors, first responders, and everyone affected by the Pulse Nightclub tragedy of June 12, 2016. First, please join me in welcoming our elected officials, and please hold any applause until after all of the names are read. Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Demings, Orange County Sheriff John Mina, Teresa Jacobs, Chairwoman of the Orange County Public School and former Orange County Mayor, City of Orlando Commissioners Robert F. Stewart, Bakari Burns, Orange County Commissioners Myra Uribe, Maribel Gomez Cordero, and 9th Judicial Circuit Court Judge Barbara Leach. Florida House of Representatives, Representative Scott Plankin, Joy Goff Marcil, Geraldine Thompson, Anna Escamani, Carlos Guillermo Smith, Daisy Morales, Florida Senator Linda Stewart, Florida Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services Nikki Fried, Congressman Darren Soto, Congressman Charlie Crist, Congresswoman Val Demings, British Consul General Nicolette Brent. Thank you for coming, and thank you for all the hard work that you do. I want to recognize Congressman Soto and Congresswoman Demings and Murphy for introducing and successfully passing a bill unanimously in the House of Representatives designating Pulse Nightclub as a national memorial. Awesome. And as many of you know, this past week, the Senate passed the bill unanimously as well. So thank you to Senator Rick Scott, Marco Rubio, and Alex Padilla for introducing that in the Senate. I'd like to recognize the members of the One Pulse Foundation Board of Trustees and the task force who are with us tonight. Thank you for your hard work and all that you do. And I also want to say thank you to the Pulse 5-Year Remembrance Week Committee for the time, effort, and resources that they've worked on this for 6 months, and we really appreciate it. Finally, tonight's ceremony is made possible in part by the following partners. Please join me in thanking Harmony Healthcare Orlando, Stanska USA Building, Siemens Energy, Truist in memory of Juan Ramon Guerrero, On June 12, 2016, 49 angels sought the joy, love, and acceptance at Pulse Nightclub. Instead, they found hatred, and they never came home. They were straight, gay, Latin, black, and white. They were mothers, they were brothers, fathers, sisters, daughters, and sons, taken forever. In the aftermath of one of the deadliest mass shootings in modern American history, and the nation's worst terrorist attack since 9/11, our community and the world came together to prove that love will overcome fear and hatred. Under this banner, the One Pulse Foundation was created to establish a sanctuary of healing and inspiration of hope by memorializing the lives taken, the lives saved, and all the lives affected by the nightclub tragedy, ensuring Pulse's legacy of love will live forever. Our mission is to create and support a memorial that opens hearts, a museum that opens minds, educational programs that open eyes, and legacy scholarships that open doors. We continue to make strides in creating a national memorial here at this location that will honor the 49 angels and all those affected while serving educating future generations on the profound impact this tragedy had on Orlando, the United States, and the world. Our Museum and Education Center, which will be located a third of a mile from here on Cayley and Division, will serve as a venue for the history of the story so it can be told for future generations. It will serve as an important place to tell the detailed individual stories of the victims and survivors, the response from the world, and for dialogue and education to help us realize our promise that we will not let hate win. In addition to the Pulse Nightclub story and the detailed stories of the victims, survivors, first responders, there's also a history to be told regarding what safe spaces mean for the LGBTQ+ community. It will also extend to conversations about terrorism, faith, immigration, cultural beliefs and practices, the response from the world, and how to affect change at the individual and community level. The Orlando Health Survivors Walk will trace the 3-block journey many victims and first responders took that night to get to Orlando Regional Medical Center. The National Pulse Memorial and Museum project will break ground in phases, beginning with the Orlando Health Survivors Walk, then followed by the National Pulse Memorial, and then the Pulse Museum. Like so many other profits across the world over the past year, the One Pulse Foundation has been impacted by COVID-19. Although the pandemic has altered the trajectory of our work, the National Pulse Museum and Memorial project continues to move forward. Our education programs are committed to promoting acceptance and inclusion through innovative, reflecting, and experiential learning methods. This year, we launched our educational programming with 4 free virtual film screenings called Conversation Starters, part of a broad category of conversation series. We are thrilled to partner nationally with local amazing writers and directors to showcase their important work and to have courageous conversations following the films. Our goal with all of our educational programming is to celebrate how we are more alike than different. And just a few weeks ago, and this is extremely exciting, we announced the second class of 49 recipients of our legacy scholarships that honor our 49 angels and awarded them $236,000 in scholarships to be used this year. Working with the families and loved ones of those killed, we established scholarships based on the respective angels' interests, careers, or aspirations. As an extension of their impact on the world, the scholarships will inspire and empower students who share similar dreams, ambitions, and goals. 5 family members, 2 survivors, 10 legacy scholars from the inaugural class, 5 trade and technical students, 32 undergraduates, and 12 graduate students were awarded scholarships. The second class represents incoming freshmen majoring in aerospace engineering, business, communications, clinical mental health counseling, international relations, in the performing arts as well, of course, as well as beauty, cosmetology, nursing, medical, law, and master's students. The 49 recipients came from all over the country, and they all have one thread in common, which is community service, leadership, and advocacy. People often ask us what drives us in fulfilling our 4 pillars. And the tragedy is part of our community's history, part of our nation's history, and part of world history. People want to pay respect. People want to learn. They want to know what happened here, and they should. We cannot let it be forgotten. We are here today to stand with the families of those whose lives were tragically taken and to honor everyone who survived and the brave first responders who sacrificed so much to save so many. We come together as a symbol of strength and solidarity in the face of tragedy, forever proving that we will not let hate win and that we will outlove hate. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Yvette Brusual. I'm the morning anchor and podcaster over at Spectrum News 13. On my little pin here, this is Corey. He worked at my Publix in College Park. His mom is here. Look around, soak it in, everybody. Keep going is what we did on year 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this, the 5th remembrance, I ask you to keep it going. Keep it going. Look around. If somebody looks different than you, that's okay. Love each other, understand each other, make a new friend, like I've made friends with Tara and her family, Corey's mom. I can't see my paper, so here come the glasses. Someone took time to write a beautiful script. You know, TV people, we do this. Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer kept it going for us. When he uttered the first words, I said, I trust him. We're going to be okay because I'm hanging on to his every word. He helped us unite and heal following the Pulse tragedy and vowed that Orlando would not be defined by one hateful act, but instead by responding with love and so much compassion. And as I look at every single one, and I see you, I hear you, the mayor does as well. That unity was on display in the hours, weeks, months, years after the tragedy, because here we are, when residents then waited for hours, remember that? To donate blood, and later at vigils and memorials, and as millions of dollars were raised to support victims, families, and survivors through the One Orlando Fund. Please join me in welcoming Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Thank you so very much. I had talked with Nancy beforehand, and we were talking about the rainbow, and it's significant because the first major vigil we had was at Lake Eola Park the Saturday after Pulse. And we had probably 50,000 people that turned out, and that was organized by just a few 20-year-olds that thought they'd have a couple people show up for a vigil, and all of a sudden it grew, and there were 50,000 people in the park. And just as we began, a giant rainbow appeared over Lake Eola Park, and you knew it was the angels that were reaching down to touch. And then I think every one of these that we've done in person, there has been a rainbow that appeared. I can't speak for the one we did virtually last year. I'm not sure about that one, but it's just super significant. I want to begin by thanking everybody here that has gotten vaccinated. The reason we can be here in person is because you've been patriotic and done the right thing and gotten vaccinated. And those who have not, I would encourage you to do that. And I want to thank Mayor Demings and Dr. Pino for their great leadership during the course of this year and getting us to this point. Let's give Mayor Demings a hand. You know, I was totally fine. Now I'm choked up. It is a little harder getting up here than I thought it would be, and I've been doing this for a long time. So June the 12th, can you all think back 5 years, what this building was like, what this was like on Saturday, well, it was Sunday morning, June the 12th then, but when we woke up, and I'm sure every one of you has a story about how you heard about Pulse and what had happened. And I got a call about 2:30 in the morning from one of the deputy chiefs and said, Mayor, I have to inform you that there's been a shooting at the Pulse Nightclub, and there are multiple casualties, and it's turned into a hostage situation. We have the command center. Hopefully that's somebody that's being transported and is going to be in good shape once they get to Orlando Health. We're setting the command center up just south of Pulse on Orange Avenue. Your driver's going to be picking you up in just a few minutes, and we picked our communication specialist, Heather, up on the way. But the first thing I did, and probably any parent would have done, was I took the phone and called my 26-year-old son at the time to make sure that he was home and in bed, because the Pulse Nightclub, I didn't know if he'd ever been there or not, but he could have been there because everybody was accepted and welcome there. Fortunately, he was at home, and it was easier for me to go do the things that I need to do. So to me, sometimes it feels like that was just yesterday, and then other times it seems so long ago. And we've had so many additional events occur since then. I got up this morning and found out 13 people have been shot on 6th Avenue in Austin, Texas this morning. So it just seems to go on. But the tragedy has impacted so many of us in seen and unseen ways, and I know it elicits different emotions for different people. And for me, it's a day to honor the 49 angels that were taken and celebrate the resilience of the survivors and the victims' families, the Orlando Police Department, the Orlando Fire Department, all of the first responders that joined from neighboring agencies on that day, and of course the great medical professionals that saved so many lives that night. And it's also a day for us to recommit to honor them with action. Many of us gave blood this week as one way to honor them in action. And the day that I gave blood, we came out of the bloodmobile, and there was a rainbow in the Orlando fountain, as it turned out, Orlando City Hall. So I know that healing is not linear for everyone. There are some people that the healing started the day after. There are some that the healing may start today, and only today. And that's why we continue to support our Orlando United Assistance Center in partnership with the LGBT Plus Center to provide personal services and especially mental health support. And our commitment is to always support those that are affected by the Pulse tragedy. So to the 49 grieving families and the survivors and the first responders, let me be clear. We in Orlando have your back. We will do everything in our power to make sure that you have the support that you need. The 5-year mark we knew was going to be difficult, just like the first year was, and it's coming in an incredibly challenging year with a pandemic that caused so much loss, divisive politics at the national and state levels. We had to protect one another and support neighbors in need and reflect on the legacy of systemic racism and find community-driven solutions to disrupt that cycle of discrimination. So United Orlando was our call to action 5 years ago, but we need to live up to it so that we ensure that it isn't simply a slogan that we trot out once a year to mark the tragedy. Instead, we want to be part of a core commitment for real change. Honoring the 49 angels with action must be part of what we do as a community. So it's important to recognize that the Pulse tragedy disproportionately impacted LGBTQ+, Latinx, Black, and Brown communities, and all communities of color. And these are the same communities that are now getting targeted by dangerous political rhetoric and hateful policies. I hate to say it, but especially at our state government level. And I want you to know that the City of Orlando is committed to continuing the work to ensure that every single person who calls our city home feels equally valued, equally protected, and has equitable access to opportunities to help them not only get by, but to thrive in our community. So at City Hall, a few of the things we've done: we've installed an all-user multi-stall restroom to ensure that anyone can use the bathroom without fear of harassment, a pretty simple thing to do. We passed a resolution to increase access to opportunities for LGBTQ+ business owners, and over the last few weeks, we've flown a transgender pride flag and a progress flag over City Hall. But our work is not done. The journey to equity and inclusion is a long one, and we need to continue to work every single day. So we will not let hate win, not here in Orlando. We are Orlando United. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Koffelt with Fox 35 Good Day Orlando. So wonderful to see all of your faces this evening. I am truly blessed and honored to be here before you and to share with you that I love each and every one of you, that I know that God's grace is shining down on us, and I am so very thankful, Nancy, for you pointing out the rainbow and for us being able to witness that rainbow tonight, to know that the 49 are here with us this evening. I also want to share with you some of the friendships and bonds that I've made with a few of the folks who were impacted by what happened at Pulse, one of them being Mr. Brandon Wolf, who has become a dear friend over the last 5 years. He is one of the very first people that I met connected with what happened here, and he's such a beautiful soul and is doing wonderful things to make the world a better place. So thank you, Brandon. And I want to share with you, I had a pleasure of speaking to Amanda Grau this week. Amanda was shot 4 times here 5 years ago. And Amanda was doing an interview with me and sharing with me what happened to her this night. And horrific events of the evening, talking to me about how she crawled from the inside to the bathroom and how she was shot 3 more times in the bathroom, and what she went through that evening. In the end of the interview, I got to ask her about something very special that happened to her. She was the recipient of the One Pulse Foundation scholarship. And I don't know if any of you got a chance to see, but she was just bursting with happiness. She said that she wanted that scholarship so desperately because she was so amazed by the EMTs who saved her life that night, that she wanted to go to EMT and firefighter school. And because of that scholarship, she was able to achieve her dream. So thank you so much, Earl, for highlighting the good that was done, because it is truly a blessing. And I just, the pride and the happiness on her face, she was just so grateful. So thank you. Now I have the pleasure of introducing one of my favorite people right here. I want to say that Jerry Demings is the first African-American mayor of Orange County after becoming Orlando's first African-American police chief and the first African-American Orange County sheriff. He's got quite a resume. Always a trailblazer, Mayor Demings says that his goal is to make Orange County the experimental prototype community of tomorrow by creating a community culture of innovation, collaboration, and inclusiveness. And of course, we can always count on Mr. Mayor Demings to lead us in good times and bad. As you know, he was instrumental in providing leadership during and after the Pulse Nightclub tragedy. So please join me in welcoming Orange County Mayor Jerry L. Demings.
introduction. Good evening to all of you. It's an honor for me to be here tonight and to participate in this program of remembrance and reflection. If you're like me, maybe you don't know quite how to feel about being here tonight. But each year that we have come to remember that tragic morning, it takes me back to a place when I first got that phone call at 2:10, 2:15 a.m. on June the 12th. My watch commander called me and shared with me that he had responded with staff from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. At the time, I was the Orange County Sheriff. And my wife heard the conversation that I was having with the watch commander. And she knew that it was something extraordinary that had occurred. I got out of my bed, put on my uniform, and responded. When I got about a block away, I encountered an Orlando police sergeant and an Orange County deputy sheriff. When I looked those two individuals in their eyes, I saw something that I had only seen in the eyes of law enforcement officers on some very rare occasions. I saw fear. I saw pain. I saw blank stares. And as I responded into the scene, I had the opportunity to encounter one of the survivors. And I remember looking into the face of one of the survivors, and I saw that same look that I had seen in those law enforcement officers. So I knew things were bad. As we proceeded that morning and working with the Orlando Police Department, the FBI, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, while it was still very much an active shooter scene, as we were there in the command post, I remember at the time Chief Mina, now Sheriff Mina. I remember speaking with firefighters and others and the OPD incident commander. I remember hearing the conversation between a crisis negotiator and the subject. I remember very vividly what was going on. And I remember placing a phone call to then Orange County Mayor Teresa Jacobs, as you've heard now, the school board chair. But I remember in that command post, as the scene was eventually stabilized, I do remember before any of us ever went out and talked to the media, having a conversation with Mayor Dyer and others, what we said was that it is important to this community that we show unity, that we show that we will not be defined by this terror attack from the very beginning. And it takes me back to some other emotions because it was an emotional event. That Monday morning after the Sunday, I swore in some brand new deputy sheriffs. And within just a few days, a couple of them, brand new, resigned. They never hit the streets. And fast forward, as we have now gone through all of what this community went through. I do remember the Monday afterwards, one of the survivors came here to the scene, and he had left his car. He couldn't get his car because the scene was contained. It was still controlled. And a media personality brought him over to me. And this young man had been inside the Pulse Nightclub during the incident. Now it's a day and a half later. As he approached me, he was shaking profusely, tears in his eyes. And he said to me he had not slept because he could not. He said every time he closed his eyes, he could relive the experience that he had endured. And I said to him at the time, I knew because of many of the volunteer counselors who were here at the scene, we quickly took him to one of them. They put their arms around him. They showed him love at that time. So here we are. Here we are 5 years later. None of us had a crystal ball. We couldn't imagine what would happen. We could have assumed that there would be some type of memorial site, but thanks to the One Pulse Foundation and that entire volunteer board and a lot of people, this memorial site has become a reality. It is part of the commitment that we made as a community that we will never forget those 49 angels and the other survivors. Even recently, I was at the Orange County History Center on Friday, going through the exhibit, and I had the opportunity to see one of our surviving families, the Alvear family. Myra Alvear and the mother of one of the 49 angels, Amanda, was there. And immediately, as we saw one another, there were no words, just love, just an embrace. So let me just say to this entire community where I was born and raised, let me just say to all of you, thank you for not letting hate win. Thank you for letting love win in this community. That's the kind of community that we all want to live in. That's the kind of nation that we all want to live in, where we respect and understand our differences as we endeavor to be the United States of America. So this evening, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come before you. We have made a commitment even from Orange County government. Some of my colleagues on the Board of County Commission are here. And that $10 million down payment that Orange County made to make this memorial site what it can be, we're honored to serve all of you. May God continue to bless each one of the 49 families and the others who were impacted by this tragedy. May God continue to bless this great community that we live in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Demings. Thank you for joining us here tonight. I am Barbara Poma, the founder and CEO of One Pulse Foundation. We are here to honor the 49 angels and their families and to pay respect and tribute to the survivors the brave first responders, and everyone impacted by the Pulse tragedy. As many of you know, my brother John was my first introduction to the LGBTQ plus community. As a gay man, he allowed me to see firsthand at a young age what being open and inclusive truly meant. When he passed from complications from HIV during the AIDS epidemic, not only did I lose an amazing brother who I adored, but I also lost my direct connection to community that I loved. Pulse Nightclub, which was established in 2004, was also a way to reconnect to this amazing community, and it was embraced by the global LGBTQ plus community for the club's culture of love and providing a safe space where everyone could be themselves and be proud to bring their families. For some, Pulse was their family. Pulse stands as a testament to the strong spirit and resilience of this Orlando community. And while this year, our 5-year remembrance, is considered a landmark year, we all know that time does not necessarily mean we have healed. 5 years is truly not that long. Everyone seated here today is in a different place of their healing journey. Even those who outwardly have made progress will still have those moments that take them back a step or two. Those moments may be less frequent or may be easier to rebound from, but they still occur. From those who share their stories with me, it is learning and accepting that they will never get over this, that they will always mourn the loss, that they will always remember what they endured inside that night, and that they can never unsee what they saw, forget the smells or the sounds, but that they can learn to live with it and move through it. The Pulse mass shooting was also a terrorist attack, and this was an attack that specifically impacted a community that has already been marginalized and terrorized and attacked for generations. The families and survivors and first responders have always been and will always be our first group to be engaged regarding this design and construction, opening and operation of the National Pulse Memorial Museum. They are represented on our task force, our committees, design firm selection committees, and jury. Ongoing listening sessions are conducted with them through every phase of the project, and we have a full-time position dedicated to maintaining strong relationships and clear and consistent communication with them, because it's their participation and feedback that are integral to the support of this project. It's always been crucial to involve the community and to give everyone a voice in helping create the National Pulse Memorial Museum. And that's been accomplished through idea generators, town hall meetings, memorial surveys, public input from the Memorial Museum concept designs, and community presentations with the design team to receive the public feedback on the design. We are setting out to do right by the people killed and all those affected by the attack at Pulse, to bring light to their darkness, to create a legacy of love. Our mission became larger than just a building, a memorial, a museum, through its central and an absolute must. Our goal is to make real change, to defeat hate. In the fall of 2017, when we asked you the words and emotions that you wanted to feel when you were visiting this memorial site, you told us the following: love, hope, unity, acceptance, courage, and strength. We take these words that you gave us and apply them to everything we do on a daily basis. As you have seen for the Pulse 5-Year Remembrance Week, we chose to focus on the word love, with the V being symbolic for representation of the Roman numeral number 5. Love epitomizes what built Pulse Nightclub and how the community and the nation and the world responded and is still strong as it was 5 years ago. I want to recognize and thank the countless numbers of organizations and individuals who came together in remembrance and unity. Today and every day, I'm also reminded of the global response of love that we've seen in the weeks and the months following the tragedy. A tribute to the ideals that our community and the One Pulse Foundation hold dear. We believe that it is our important responsibility to tell the story for future generations so that we don't ever risk a tragedy being erased entirely over time. Now, we are the keepers of the story, but in the future, it is the Memorial Museum that will continue the legacy when we're no longer here to do so. It's our mission to pay tribute to all the affected and engage and educate people from around the world, serving as a catalyst for positive change. We hope to initiate courageous conversations and give people of all ages the backgrounds, the tools that they need to learn about and promote acceptance. Education and awareness are central to eradicating hate and promoting real change in our society. Looking forward, we are committed to promoting acceptance, equity, and inclusion, creating safer learning communities, and providing knowledge and information on social issues at the individual, group, and community levels. Dialogue and education will always help us realize that we will not let hate win because we choose to outlove it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Broughton. I'm an anchor with WKMG News 6, and I am so honored to be here with you tonight and to introduce Brandon Wolf. Brandon Wolf is a nationally recognized gun safety and LGBTQ civil rights advocate and a dynamic public speaker. He currently serves as the Media Relations Manager for Equality Florida, the state's largest LGBTQ civil rights organization. On June 12th, like so many others, life changed for Brandon. He lost his best friends, Drew Leinanen and Juan Guerrero, during the Pulse shooting. Rather than be swallowed by the anger and fear of tragedy, Brandon set out to honor the victims' legacies with action. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, Brandon co-founded the Drew Project, a nonprofit organization that works to empower youth and provide future leaders in the LGBTQ community funding for higher education. He also became an outspoken activist in the gun violence prevention movement, and in 2019, he became the first survivor of the tragedy at Pulse to testify before Congress. Please join me in welcoming Brandon Wolf.
Thank you all. And I'm sorry that it's an emotional day. You know, growing up, I didn't believe that I deserved a space like Pulse. I was taught that I didn't deserve acceptance, appreciation, or love. I truly believed that the world wasn't ready for an out, proud, queer person of color. I internalized the idea that in order to truly belong in this world, I would have to forfeit the things that made me different. I would have to abandon the pieces of me that the world deemed just too controversial to stomach. So when I got a chance, I left home as quickly as I could. I packed 2 suitcases, hopped on a plane, and moved 3,000 miles away to a place I'd never been, in search of a place to call home. I found it here. I found it in the vibrant and rich diversity of Orlando. I found it in our safe spaces, spaces like Pulse. And I found it in chosen family, community. When I met my best friend Drew in 2014, I had no idea that he would change my life forever. He was audacious and unapologetic. He practiced bold self-love and existed defiantly. He was everything I believed I didn't deserve, and he was so proud of it. Drew was the first person who taught me that it's okay to love myself, all of myself. 5 years ago, we were safe. We walked arm in arm into the building behind me, the refuge we could have navigated with our eyes closed. We sipped the same drinks we always sipped, twirled to the same beats we always twirled to. It was belonging. It was freedom. Everything I thought I didn't deserve. And then in an instant, it was gone. The carefully constructed walls around us crashed down, the harsh glare of hatred fixed upon us. My safety, my belonging devoured by the flames of violence. Drew, his partner Juan, and 47 others were stolen from us in a blaze of gunfire. I'll be honest and vulnerable with you, I wanted to run away. Until that moment, I thought heartbreak was just a cliche, until my heart lay in 1,000 pieces at my feet. I had lost the anchor in my life, and I didn't know how to survive anymore without my best friends. I found the first shred of my courage 6 days after the shooting. We had a funeral service for Drew that day. I was a pallbearer, and I found myself clutching the side of his casket so tightly I thought my fingers might fall off. I struggled to get it down the aisle because I didn't want to let go of my best friend until I'd found the right words to say goodbye. When we got to the front of that church, I looked down at his polished wooden box and I made him a promise that I would never stop fighting for a world that he would be proud of. I didn't know it at the time, but that wasn't a promise to be fulfilled by me. It was a challenge to each and every one of us. You see, a world that Drew would be proud of is one that values everyone. It's a world that protects trans kids and doesn't turn them into a political football. It's a world where the beautiful black trans women in our communities are celebrated while they live, not just memorialized when they die. You see, that world that Drew would be proud of is a world that chooses peace over violence. It's a world that chooses unity over division and love over hate. A world that Drew would be proud of is a world we can all be proud of. And it's one we must all be willing to fight for. As we sit here today marking 5 years since the darkest day in our community, the hardest day of my entire life, we have to recommit to the work ahead. Bigotry and hatred are not asleep. They still move around us. And if we are going to snuff them out, we must make the same defiant choice we made on this site 5 years ago today, and that is to embrace the power of community and reject the temptation to come apart at the seams of our differences. Growing up, I didn't believe I deserved a place like this. I didn't believe I deserved a community like this one, a chosen family, a home. But I was wrong. Drew's defiance taught me to demand a world where every single one of us is celebrated. This community's resilience taught me that when we choose to stand together, we are unshakable. And now, 5 years later, we are called upon to recommit to sharing that same message with the world, to recommit to ensuring that no one is left behind, and to honor those who were stolen from us with our authenticity, with our courage, with our resolve, to honor them with action. Thank you.
Brandon, I want to thank you for your work and for being an inspiration to so many of us who are here today. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sheldon Dutez, one of the morning anchors and midday anchors at West True News. Even though I was working in Wisconsin in 2016, I grew up 25 minutes away from here, and I was following everything that was happening very closely. And it means a lot to me on a personal level to be here with all of you in this space as we remember and reflect. I have the privilege tonight of introducing our next speaker, Deputy Chief James Young from the Orlando Police Department. Jim has worked in law enforcement for more than 30 years and has been with the Orlando Police Department since 1997. Over the years, Jim has received many department recognition awards, including several commendations and awards for his commitment to serve and protect. Jim served as the lead LGBTQ liaison from 2014 to 2017 and helped launch the Safe Place program. He also received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Harvey Milk Foundation for his unwavering dedication to help ensure equality for everyone. Jim is well known and well respected and a well familiar face here in Orlando and volunteers with a lot of our local organizations and community groups. Please join me in welcoming Deputy Chief James Jim Young.
Thank you, Sheldon. On behalf of all the first responders, as always, our thoughts are for the victims, their families, survivors, and our entire community affected by the tragic events from 5 years ago today. I also want to recognize our local agency leaders, including Orlando Police Chief Rolone and Sheriff John Mina. And I want to thank and recognize our elected officials, especially Mayor Dyer, for your support. On June 12, 2016, just after 2 a.m., the call for help came, and hundreds of Central Florida first responders arrived to fight evil, end the harm, and save lives. They arrived with strength and unity. We all then witnessed how Orlando and the world would come together and share their strength and unity. For many of the first responders, we know that that shift they were working that night is the longest of their lives, and for some, that shift has never ended. When I think of strength, I not only think about the physical trait, but the examples of strength which define all of us, such as trustworthiness, respectfulness, determination, dedication, and honesty. These characteristics, which we know are within all of us, were demonstrated that night by our brave first responders. Those first responders, the police officers, the paramedics, fire personnel, and doctors and nurses, all who do what they do with courage and the united goal of saving lives, sometimes at the cost of their own. I stand before you not only as a law enforcement officer and first responder, but as an openly gay, cisgendered male, and someone who is part of both being a police officer and a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Thank you. I have a long personal and professional history with Pulse, and I wanted to share my personal experiences over the past 5 years. From that night, being where we here are right now, makes me recall one single moment. As our officers continue to rescue those inside, I was standing here, actually I believe it was about right there, when I saw Angelica run up to me, and we all know Angelica, thank you, and give her a round of applause. Thank you, Angelica. She ran over to me, she hugged me, squeezed me, and her words were, "Jim, thank God it's you, I feel safe now." Over the past 5 years, I have seen friendships strengthen and our community unite. From religious leaders of various faiths to community leaders to members of our community, all working together to show strength and unite. It's often heard that we have more in common than we know. Those common grounds are what keep us united. I'm glad that I can be one of the interviewers when hiring new officers. So many times after the Pulse tragedy to this day, I hear young aspiring law enforcement officers state that they want to work here because of the inclusive, diverse, and equitable agency and united community for which we have here in Orlando. The friendships in our chosen families here in our community mean the world to me, and treating everyone with dignity and respect is and always should be built into our culture. Each year we gather to unite and remember, but also to show that we can remain united. Over these past 5 years, we've seen the creation and growth of the Safe Place program, young aspiring officers seeking our community to work, and the strength and unity of our community continue to grow. My hope is that everyone, as you heard from that night, specifically from Angelica, will always feel safe when around or hugging first responders. If we use our shared experiences and our shared values, including those of strength and unity, love will always win. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nima Barami, the owner of Amore Events and a Pulse staff survivor. I'm humbled to be here this evening to introduce the reading of the names and want to thank the following family members and representatives for taking their part in this important moment of reflection and remembrance. Myra Alvier, Marilyn Beebe, Felicia and Daryl Roman Burt, Yoli Cintron, Andrea Drayton, Rosetta Evans, Janice Santana, Lolly, Kim Vielma, and MJ and Fred Wright.
Mercedes Marisol Flores, Gilmarie Rodríguez Sullivan, Jonathan Antonio Camuy Vega, Christopher Andrew Leinonen, my dear daughter, Amanda Lisette Alvear.
It is my sincere pleasure to close our 5-year remembrance ceremony tonight with someone who joined us virtually last year. We are thrilled that she can be here with us in person tonight. Please welcome singer, songwriter, record producer, and author Jare, who is performing a song honoring everyone affected by the Pulse tragedy. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Andar por andar, ese no es mi estilo, no por un camino. Es que yo vivo y es que no es nada fácil echar los sueños a volar. Entre ilusiones y colores yo alcé mi voz, pero en cada paraíso hay bestias que quieren hacernos ver que no hay estrellas en el cielo, que debo ir marcha atrás. Vuelan sus almas, ya no más lágrimas, ya nada puede robarles la ilusión. No me detendré, no voy a caer, ya me levanté, no hay nada ni nadie a quien temer. No me detendré, ni volveré a caer, voy a devolver golpe a golpe, ganar la batalla y no mirar atrás. De ilusiones y colores yo alcé mi voz, pero en cada paraíso hay bestias que quieren hacernos ver que no hay estrellas en el cielo, que debo ir marcha atrás. A mi alma ya no hay más lágrimas, ya nada puede robarles la ilusión. No me detendré, no voy a caer, ya me levanté, no hay nada ni nadie a quien temer. No me detendré, ni volveré a caer, voy a devolver golpe a golpe, ganar la batalla y no mirar atrás. No me detendré, ni volveré a caer, ya me levanté, no hay nada ni nadie a quien temer. No me detendré, ni volveré a caer, hoy voy a pelear golpe a golpe, ganar la batalla y no mirar atrás. Na 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 Let's big applause for our family in the heaven. Na 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 na, whoa.
Thank you.
Just a quick announcement to the family of our 49 angels. There is a